Hey guys, thank you for joining in. We are still waiting for others to join in. Give us for a few more minutes, then we'll begin. I hope all of you can see the screen. Hey Ruchi, you want to ask any question?
Hi, Arvind. No queries as such. Was just typing in that the screen is visible clearly.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Others are also dialed in, waiting for some more guys to begin.
Hello, Arvind sir. You joined.
Hey Piyush, thank you for joining. We are waiting for others. Just check if you're able to see and hear clearly.
Yeah,
Great. We'll start in a couple of minutes.
sure, sir.
It is visible, yeah.
Great. Hey guys, thank you for joining. We are waiting for others to join in, and we'll wait for 1 more minute and then we'll begin. All right, we'll wait for others to join in, but we'll begin. Let's start with a kind of an icebreaker. Okay, and welcome Kaushal as well. Hey Shiven. Shiven, you can turn off your camera. It's not required. I hope you can see the screen. Okay. A quick question from from everybody who has joined in. When was the last time you registered for any site on any site and set a password? How long that was, roughly? Was it last week, last month, last year? When was the last time you registered yourself for something which needed a password? Think about it, unmute yourself and answer me.
It happens daily.
Okay. Daily. Others? When was the
Last
last
time I required my password. It's 2 months back.
2 months back? Okay. Thanks, Naveen.
So once in 2 months.
Few
Okay.
days back.
Few days back,
A week back.
a week
For
back,
this side, it's been 6 months.
6 months since you registered last time. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, why I'm asking this question is passwords have become a part of our life, if you see. As some of you answered, every other week, every other month, every other day, we are required to register somewhere which needs a password, right? So, if you try and count yourself, how many passwords you might have registered so far in your lifetime, it'll be a big number. I'm sure none of us remembers all of those passwords now, or even those websites where we registered, be it train booking, be it an email address, be it a hotel booking, be it a movie theater, anywhere you go, you need to register with your ID and password. So life is becoming way more complex to actually remember all these passwords. So with this small session of 30 to 40 minutes, I plan to solve that problem of yours, and I will try and help all of you that going forward after today, you will not face any kind of trouble in terms of either setting up a password, remembering a password, and keeping it safe so that no one else other than you can actually know about that password. So I am guessing all of you know me, but there are some guests as well who are friends of friends who don't know me. My name is Arvind. I am into IT since the beginning of my career, and I know most of you. You are part of my friends, family, ex-colleagues, current colleagues. So I welcome all of you and thank you for taking out time for this learning. Depending upon how this session goes, I plan to do some more sessions in future, which can help us in our daily lives, including the way we digitally communicate. So without wasting any further time, let's begin. I've got a couple of slides, but it'll be more of an interactive session. I'll be showing you a few things. I'll be opening a few websites. So please keep an eye on the screen. And at the end of each slide, please feel free to ask any question so that you don't forget. It is possible that due to shortage of time, you may not be able to ask all of your questions. So never mind. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not definitely not going to charge you for any of your questions after this session. So feel free to message me, send me those questions about any particular tool, anything which I showed. I am recording this session, and I will be sharing these slides, which will contain important links for you to use in future. So without any ado, let's begin. All right, let's start with this. This is a famous saying. I don't know how many of you know, but this is what it is. Treat your passwords like your underwear. You don't let other people see it. You should change it very often, and you shouldn't share it with strangers. If we follow these three things, our lives will be very much secure. But this also causes some more problems, which we'll see. How difficult it is to change the password often, how difficult it is to remember those passwords, and things around that. So let's start with a very basic question. What is the password? Anybody? Like, I'm not looking for a technical answer, but in general terms, what is a password? Why do we need password?
Code that you actually use for encrypting your mails, or so that only you are the one who can open it, you know.
Okay, all right, good. Can you give a real life example of what a password could be in a real life? Like, passwords are virtual, but in real life, what could be a password?
It's like the key to a lock.
Exactly, that's exactly is what I was looking for. So it is a key to a lock. Always, wherever it comes to passwords, think of it as a. Oh, I've got an unknown user. Let me see who he is. Okay, so the the best way to describe a password is a key, and the lock is the service which you are trying to get. So if I just move this slide further, this lock can be your Gmail, can be your Yahoo Mail, can be your Facebook, can be anything, including your bank, including your office, including your investments which you have done, including everything which relies on it. And the key is your password, right? So never forget that. Just like you will never hand over the key to your house to anybody other than the people you trust, like your family members, maybe, or someone else whom you trust, you will never hand over the password to anyone in your life. That's the basic rule of the thumb. Okay, quick question time. What do you think is an average person? How many passwords does an average person has? Like you gave me some examples. Take a quick guess and tell me how many passwords do you have in your life? Is
A
it
few
five, ten,
hundreds.
few hundreds? Okay, great. Anyone else?
20s.
Eight or
Personally,
10.
I keep two or three. I'm
Two or three.
so it's dangerous, but I tend to not remember, so I just keep two or three, and that are there for every account.
But how many passwords are there in total? Like there will be 5, 10, 20 sites which
Okay,
you.
you're as okay those that kind. So then I think in the today's world it would somewhere around I will not say less than 2 to 300 places. Yeah.
Oh man. So see, these are all big numbers. Anyone who has less than 10 passwords? Just either you raise your hand in Teams or you can speak up. Okay. I guess nobody. So since we started using internet, we have passwords since that particular day, right? Uh, so a study was conducted. Uh, we can turn off the camera. Mohit, it's not required. You can just focus on the screen. Okay, great. So a study was conducted and it was found that an average person in today's world has got 70 to 80 passwords, right? As some of you said, more than 100, few hundreds. Some of you who are very young, I can see a couple of young, kids are also there. So you may have less passwords, but as your life grows, you'll keep on creating more and more passwords. And somebody just now mentioned that to ease and simplify, I use the same password to all the sites, which is very convenient but very dangerous. Okay, we'll learn how and how to get rid of this problem. So this is the latest study done in 2020. Now you may ask, what are these 70, 80 passwords for? So as I said, your email, your social network, banks, your taxation, shopping, investment, whatever you are doing online, everything, anything and everything requires a password. In fact, there isn't any service which I remember which will let you use it without setting up a username or password. Maybe a very few of them, right? So they need to know who the other person is. They need to authenticate. So you keep on creating passwords, and the most common mistake or most common thing which we all do is we keep the same password. So quick question, out of all these services,
Hey, Arvind, you there? Did we lost Arvind or it's me?
We
Yeah,
No,
lost
I
I
it.
think
think
we have
No,
lost.
we lost
I
Arvind.
think you lost Arvind.
We lost
Yeah,
Arvind.
I think he
Yeah,
is showcasing as leaving. I think he's gonna rejoin.
yeah.
Yeah, even
Let's
I
wait
cannot
for
hear him.
Maybe he'll send another request.
I guess he would
Should
be
we wait?
rejoining.
I guess
Hello?
he would be joining in a minute.
Okay, I think then we should wait.
Yeah, guys, we should wait.
I hope, Arvind, your passwords are safe.
hey guys, I'm back. Sorry, got dropped. Give me a second. Okay, let me know once you are able to see the screen.
I can see it.
Okay, great.
I can
Yes, we
see it.
can see the
Now we
screen.
can see it.
Sorry
Yeah,
about
we
that. If
can.
in case I don't know what happened, if in case it gets dropped again, then I'll rejoin. Please don't leave the meeting. Okay, very quickly moving on. So very quick question. Out of all these services, which one do you think is the most important? Of course, banking and everything is there, but what else is the most important service which you have password?
The mail is very important.
Mails, yeah. Mails and
Mails,
bikes.
Very good.
social
Bills
network.
and tax, social
Okay.
network.
Social networking, mails. So it's very
Social network, mails, and banks.
very good. So after banking, social network, as you know, and emails are the most important ones, because if I get access or somebody gets access to your mails, that means he has access to all the services which you have ever registered. All he has to do is just click on forgot password, and he can avail those services. Now the passwords have got two major problems. First of all, how do we set it? How often should we change it, or where should we keep all these passwords? Is brain the best place to keep all these passwords, or is there any other place we can actually keep these passwords? So very quickly, let's jump on to the first problem. These are the two problems which we are going to solve today with this session. So a very quick question: how do you decide when you have a registration page in front of you? How do you decide what password to set or how to set it?
So generally, as a tendency, I try and link the password to the kind of services that website is providing. So
Okay,
something related to that.
that's very good. Anyone else?
So
I try to
actually, I
make a
always
password that is not very easy to hack and is rememberable.
Okay, well, that's a good
Correct.
combination.
Same from my side.
Okay,
Difficult for
so
others.
okay,
So for me, I have, as I said, I have two, three things which I keep on toggling here and there.
yeah,
And
right,
secondly, one very important thing which I want to say, which you are going to talk about is because I know that I always have a reset or a forgot password option. I
right.
sometimes do. I'm very careless because I know even if I'll forget the mail ID is there, I have to just remember my mail password.
Great. That's a very good option. But if somebody has access to your mailbox, then he is
Yeah.
also getting all those passwords, right?
Correct. But as a
Oh,
general habit, I think I do it a lot, and I think a lot of other people who are very lazy or who are not, who just can't remember or can't keep track do such things basically.
okay, understood. Very good.
I have
Very
the
good
same
answers.
issue. I also keep forgetting my passwords again and again.
Right. So this is human tendency, right? So the irony is that you cannot use the same password. You cannot use something which you remember, which is like easy to remember, and you cannot repeat it. And it's nobody else other than you should know about that. So how difficult it is,
And
to
it
actually
is
set a
very
complex
irritating
password.
also.
Very
It
irritating.
is also very irritating also
Very good. So without wasting
when
time, let's
it is
quickly jump
required.
onto this, actual problem, which is causing everybody to flip out because they have to actually follow this. Everybody has to follow this on a daily basis. Let me just see. Okay. I have muted everyone. There was a lot of background noise. So with this presentation, let's try and see if we can actually solve this problem. How do you have to decide on the password? Okay. So let's see. Whenever this is again a survey which was taken, whenever a password generation or a set password question is in front of people, they actually follow this kind of pattern. So they always reuse a password which was already created, but they'll change one or two characters here and there. Instead of words, they will substitute a with at the rate or l with one, something like this. Very few people use random words or numbers, and some of them go up to a level, and there are very few that they'll pick a random word from the dictionary. They'll open a dictionary, and whatever word comes on that page, they will set that. It's a very good way, but very slow way and very complex way. So this was quick survey to show you that almost 3 out of 4 people recycle their passwords, and we also saw it here that many people are reusing the passwords. Let's see how should we how what is the right way to generate the password, the best way to generate. Before I do that, this is a question which you have to answer. You can either raise your hand and or you can just tell me after unmuting. Is any of this list, take a moment to see, any of this list contains any of the passwords which you are actively using? This can be on bank site, email address, anywhere. Just take a moment and see. You have to just say yes or no.
No.
No,
Okay.
No, Arvind.
Okay, that's good. Even if it is yes, even if somebody thinks that yes, they have used any of these passwords, there's no shame. Many of us use that. In fact, this was a research which was conducted. These are the 50 most common passwords among all the passwords which got hacked in the recent past. So as you can see, any of these passwords are very easy to guess, very easy to remember. Sorry.
Exactly this password, but in combination to something, I always use these numbers. So
Okay.
not exactly the exact of the
Great.
combination to something or the other in my life, I use these digits.
Understood. One thing common which
I
you
also
see.
put all numbers in my password.
Yes, so you can see that there are many of these passwords which are only numbers, and that's a common mistake. Numbers are very easy to crack, even faster than the actual alphabets. Okay, as you can see, these are the 50 most common passwords which got hacked, and there is not a single one which has got a special character, not even a single one, right? So that means special characters or alphanumeric or uppercase letters are so important. But again, the question arises: how? What password is the right password, or which one should you set? There is a site, okay, and I'm going to share the link as well. So it says how secure is my password.net. It Whenever you type any password which you're planning to set, it will tell you how easily it would be to crack this. So if you put PASSWORD, it'll instantly tell you that this password can be hacked very quickly. Okay, so if you put a complex password with numbers and alphabets and special characters, it will tell you exactly how much time will it take for somebody to actually hack into to this, right? So you have to be very careful. I'm going to show you in a minute how you can check that. What is the right way or right password to generate? What is the right password which is difficult to guess, very difficult to hack, almost unhackable? Something which is say 16 characters in length, has got symbols, numbers, all these stuff. So if you see closely, this is the, you can say, an example of the best password which you can set. You can see how complex it is. It does not contain any word which you can remember, but that is again a problem, that how will you remember? We'll come to that in a minute. So there are sites available like passwordgenerators.net which will generate a quick and very complex password for you based on whatever you choose. There are also softwares available which you can just install, and every time you open, they will generate a new password randomly and will tell you what kind of password it is. Is it strong, too easy to guess, and things like that. So the idea is that instead of you coming up with this combination, you can simply copy it and paste it, right? And register for that service. Now, this creates another problem, that how will you remember? So we'll come to that in the second, upcoming slides, that how will you remember such a complex password? But there are tools, and I'm going to share all these links with you so that you can generate passwords. Now, I'm going to tell you a way, a combination. Like some of you said, I use a combination of something. I will tell you a way how you can create almost unbreakable passwords, but you can also remember it. And we are going to generate a couple of passwords right now. Okay. And this is a combination lock which each one of you can use, and you don't have to tell that combination to anyone. Okay. This is going to be the baseline for every password which you're going to set for going forward. So I'm going to show you two ways, one easy way and one more complex way. It's up to you how you want to choose it. So if you're ready for method one, here is the first thing. All you need is three things. The first thing is take any number of your choice, any number which you remember. It can be your phone number, number plate, date of birth, PIN code, anything which you remember, which chances are that other than you, not many people know about. Even if your family members, friends know about you, like your phone number or your, I don't know, date of birth, not a problem. So that's one thing. Second, whatever website you're trying to register, okay, remember that site. So if suppose I'm signing up for a new email address, Gmail is the keyword here. Netflix, Hotstar, whatever, whatever is that site where you are trying to actually register. So always remember that any one letter can be capital. Now, the third thing is take any two special characters, either one or two of your choice. You like ampersand, take that, dollar sign, at the rate, whatever you like, take that. Now, if you have these three things in mind, you can put a piece of paper if you want and write it. See how easy it would be. Now all you have to do is either use 1 plus 2 plus 3 or 2 1 3 or whatever combination of these three things. For example, I chose a date of birth 01/01/1985. I chose the service which I'm registering for, which is Gmail with a G capital and a dollar sign with an exclamation. Okay, so this became my new password for that service. The moment you change the service, say I want to register for Facebook, so this Gmail will convert into Facebook. Or if you want to use a different combination, you want to put the second one first and then the first item and then the third item, you can go for it. So this way you have to decide which combination you are going to use and then use it for all the sites. The secret thing is you are not going to tell anyone about this code or these two special characters. And you can going forward, you can register or change your passwords with this combination. Any questions before I show the method two? Okay.
No.
So if you think this is too simple, anybody can guess that, if somebody gets to know about any of this number or this, because this service is anyway visible to everyone, and this is for you to remember. If you think this is very simple, let's make it a bit complex. So choose any one of the method and I'll tell you how secure these passwords are in a minute. So the same thing, take any 4-digit number this time. It can be a birth year or MMDD or anything which is 4-digit, for example. Use the same service name, Gmail, Hotmail, Hotstar. Take any one or two characters and then take the same numbers again, whatever you chose in the front. Okay, it can be 1980, it can be 2000, it can be anything, and then use any of the combinations, whichever you decide, 1234, 4321, 4123, whatever, and see, this is your new password. So 1980 Gmail with G capital exclamation and again 1980 or Hotmail 2000 $2000. It's very simple. All you have to remember is just the special character, one or two, and a year or whatever 4-digit thing which you can remember easily. Now this combination actually is the key, right? Even if somebody knows it's 1980, this combination will never allow them to guess what it is, right? Because they are special characters, they are alphanumeric words and all that. Now don't believe me, let me just open a browser, let me just show you very quickly. What was the site name which I just showed you? Let's open this. I hope you can see it. So this is the site which I was talking about. Let's type password. And you can see that it tells you that it can be instantly hacked. Got it? Let's try this, which we just now generated. Okay. Just have a look at it. In order for a computer to hack into this password, it'll take 15 billion years. Okay. Let's try the other one. 200 million years. Okay. Let's try the third one. This is the method 2, which is easier but difficult at the same time. 200 million years. Let's try the last one. 1 trillion years. I hope you're seeing this, right?
Yes, sir.
Great. So you saw how quickly we were able to create complex password using any of the methods. It's your it's your choice which method you choose. I mean, these are the methods which are easy to remember, which you can always use. All you have to remember is the combination which comes first or the numbers. Still, there is a lot of guessing to go do, a lot of things to remember. So what if you don't want to remember at all? Okay, you don't want to remember anything. How shall we do that? Let's see. There is one more thing. I was expecting that some of you might ask questions about what about those services which require you to change the password every now and then. How will you do it? You can't change this number. You can't change the name. What will we do? So instead of 1980 or instead of those 4-digit numbers, you should always use and YY. So suppose you change the password in the third month of 2020. So 032020 can be that combination. Or if next time after 3 months you are changing it, you can change it to 062020 or something like that.
How about changing it, your special characters?
Yeah, you can change that as well. whatever you remember. I mean, this is just a combination. You can use any special character which you like, any number which you like. Just keep the service name constant. Even if you don't want to use Gmail, Hotmail, use mail as one of them, social networking another one, e-commerce another one. Put any combination which you remember. That's the key thing. Okay. So next problem, after this, what is the next problem? Where will you keep this password? How do you keep these passwords? Whatever passwords you remember. Unmute yourself and you can tell me where do you
In mind.
in mind? Okay.
I
An
maintain an
Excel
Excel.
sheet should be created and have a password on that Excel sheet.
Okay. All
Sir, I
right.
use Norton password manager for keeping the passwords.
Okay, good. What else do you think is the right way?
I think
Or
The
subscribe
password should
password
be
to
manager.
related
any
to something
service.
you remember and keep them in mind.
Okay, keeping in mind that's the most secure thing.
I write it in a diary, like
Mhm.
whenever I change my password.
And where does that diary go? Where do
Like
you keep that diary?
that depends upon if this is a banking site, then it's for everyone. If it is like social networking, it's for me only.
No, no. Where does that diary
And
go? Where do you keep
and
that diary?
Kaushal, one question here. What in case someone found that diary, your
Yeah.
diary?
What will happen then, man?
No,
Subscribe
diary
to
is
a
like always
yearly
at home.
service in which you can record all your passwords.
Okay. I think Ankit, you're trying to say something. We cannot hear you.
Actually, when I started, like 15 minutes back, I used to maintain an Excel.
Okay.
But at that point of time, we had only 10, 15 passwords.
Right.
But as we grew up, it the number came into hundreds.
Yeah.
So it was not feasible to maintain an Excel for each and every password because we used to do it daily.
Right.
So now it's like it's all puzzled up and it's in mind.
Right. So it's not organized. But one
Yes.
common thing which I heard from each one of you is that either maintain an Excel or keep it in mind. And there was one very creative answer which Kaushal gave, that write it in a piece of diary and hide it somewhere or keep it somewhere. You will not believe all these are very good ways of securing the password. But are they the best? No, I can tell you there are other ways how you can keep these passwords safe where no one else can have access. Okay. I'll show you a way how you can do that. Maintaining an Excel with a password, good if you have limited number of passwords. But as he said, when password grows, the risk also grows. Plus, whenever you're opening this Excel, anybody who's behind you gets to see all your passwords in once. All. And nowadays, all you need is one photograph click, and that's it. Your entire life is gone. Anybody who can click a photo or take a screenshot of that Excel sheet, you cannot do anything. It's gone. The second thing, very good option is to keeping it in mind, which is always the best way. That password should always be in your minds. But your memory, as we grow, we forget the name of the site, forget about the password. We don't even remember sometimes that which
But
site
we
was
are
it.
unable to remember 100 passwords.
Yes, yes, that's another challenge, right? So do we really need to keep a diary and keep it somewhere? So yes, for elderly, for people who are not so computer savvy, who are not so tech savvy and don't have gadgets or smartphones, it is always best that wherever services like banking passwords, some essential services which where they need to have a password, they should write up in a small diary, very small diary. Keep it in your safe, protect it more than your money, because money once lost can be re-earned. Once you lose all these passwords, a lot bad can happen, right? So for elderly, for your parents, for the people who cannot access smart devices like computer, laptop, mobiles, it is best option to keep it in a piece of paper or in a diary and keep it in your locker. Lock it out and don't give the key to anyone. Okay. But for all of us who are there on the call, let's quickly see what are the different ways. This was a quick survey which was done, and it was asked from most Americans that where do you keep these passwords? So as you can see, majority of them said that we memorize them in their heads. 49% said we write them down on a piece of paper. These were the top two answers here as well, right? Third one said we save them in a note on a computer or a mobile device. This was also one of the option. Then 18% said we save them in the internet browser itself. So there is always an option to save the password. So we save it there. And 12% said, like Piyush also said in this call, that he used some kind of password management program. Okay, what they are and how do we use it is what we'll be using, we'll be discussing shortly. So let's quickly jump on to the next slide. Now, this is something which is not so new. This password managers have been there from ages. In fact, you will not believe, but the first password manager I ever used was in year 2001, and we are in 2020. And we are in 2020. So from 19 years, password managers have existed in some form or the other, right? If you are new to this, it's fine. It's never late. Now is the right time for you to use. In fact, one of these password managers, which I shortlisted for this session, the RoboForm, I've been using it since 2001, and so far I have got 2,000 active passwords of mine. So since in last 20 years, it's more than or close to 2,000 passwords which I have created. And as you know, it's impossible for anyone to remember those 2,000 passwords. So I'll show you what is the benefit of using this. I have linked each one of the service, so you can just click on it and you can see it. Now, these services are not free. Okay. So if you are planning to take the passwords seriously, it's high time that you start investing in them, because passwords are going to stay there for the rest of our lives unless we plant something in our brain which automatically authenticates. So I'll quickly give you an example. Like these are the top fours which I could find after doing my research. I'm using RoboForm. As I said earlier, it was free version, but as my requirements grew, I jumped onto the premium version. I'm paying close to $30 per year for this service. However, for new users, they have come up with this new plan in which you have to just pay 700 rupees per year, and you can avail their services. You can also use a free version of RoboForm. It will just not sync the password. Okay, what is that syncing? I'll tell you in a minute. There are other options as well. One password is free for 30 days. After that, it is 2,600 per year. Dashlane is also one of the top most password managers. It's free without syncing. You can store up to 50 passwords. And if you want to go for paid one, close to 3,000. LastPass, which was an independent company, got acquired by LogMeIn, which is a very popular service. LastPass is free with sync. It has got some premium features which are not available, but rest of the features are available. And I will highly recommend that you start your journey with something like this or a free version of RoboForm. And if you like it, you subscribe. Otherwise, LastPass allows you to sync your passwords to your mobile device and your other computers, or store it securely uh, on your computer. Okay, what it is and how to use it in a minute, I'm going to show you. And I'm also going to give you an example that what is the biggest advantage of all these services. So why should you use password manager? Number one, it will always help you generate the password. So if you go back a few slides, I showed you this slide. So a password manager will always contain something called password generator. Okay, that means it will always create or a random password for every time you click on password generate. And since you cannot remember, in fact, you don't need to remember this password if you have one of the password generators, because it is going to save this securely in an encrypted way on your computer, which only you will have access to. How will you have access to it? Either through another master password, or with your fingerprint, or with your eye scanning, right? So some kind of authentication will be there before you can actually access this password. This is how password managers work. Now, you may say that I work more often on my mobile and then I have to switch to a laptop. How will I copy these passwords? Now, this is where the premium feature comes in, or syncing feature comes in. Let me just jump on to that slide, which will help you understand this part. So this is how cloud passwords work. Okay. The company which you are subscribing to, either free or paid, will have a secure server encrypted server where all your passwords will be syncing to the cloud. Okay. So for example, I set a very complex password of Gmail. That software stored it and synced it to my account securely. Then another, I used a desktop, a different machine. I again created another password, got synced in the cloud. Now, when I'm logging into the same site on Gmail, for example, on my mobile, then the same password can be put back in using the same application, the password manager. Now, you may question that what about somebody steals this? What if this company knows all the passwords? So all these passwords are highly encrypted using the most secure encryption available. Even if even if these servers gets hacked and somebody steals the database or wherever these passwords are stored, they will not be able to see it because they are encrypted by a secret key which only you know. Unless somebody knows that, nobody can actually open, not even that company can open the passwords. Okay. Any questions before I move forward? This is all happening in real time using Cloud Sync. Was it too technical or was it too simple that there are no questions? Okay, I could
We
not.
encrypted. Why syncing it to a fingerprint or anything?
Yes,
The
while
cloud
syncing.
could still have our password.
Yes, so cloud is nothing but
As
the
even if
company.
we use our fingerprint,
Yeah.
so the company can see the passwords themselves. Then how is it safe if they know the passwords?
No, they cannot know the password because the authentication, that fingerprint is the authentication which is happening on your device. Okay, that is called, in technical terms, it's called private key. So you only have got, it's like, let me give you an example. This is the bank locker. Okay, it has got two keys. One key is with the bank and another key is with you. Whenever we deposit any money in the bank locker or whatever jewelry we put in the bank locker, there is no way for the bank to steal that. There's no way. Even if somebody steals that key without your key, this locker will not open. So this is exactly the same concept which is there for your passwords. Forget about password. Even for anything, you're doing WhatsApp chat, you are doing Facebook, everything is to getting stored on the Facebook servers or Google servers. But the beauty of today's technology is even if they want to see what you are chatting, even if they want to read everything which you want to read, which you are chatting, they cannot do that because you have got your private key. Without that, it cannot get unlocked. This data is securely stored. So any of these services, any one of them, whether it's your choice whether you want to sync it to the cloud. Each one of them have got a free version which will not sync. So as you can read, free without sync means it will not store the passwords in the cloud. It will keep everything in your computer and you are responsible for the safety of those passwords. It will be encrypted again. It'll still ask you for the password, but nothing will go on the cloud. The advantage is as you don't want to share it on the cloud, it will stay with you. The disadvantage is that if you want to use this on your mobile or any other device, you cannot use the same password because that password has never got synced. Okay. So I would highly recommend try any of these services once and see if you like them. I am an example. I'm using it from last 20 years. I have never faced any problem. Till last 5 years, I'm using the Cloud Sync feature as well, which I said is a premium. But because of the new users, they are giving it for a lot less money than what I'm paying for. This is unfortunately for only for new users. And any questions related to any of this, I can answer. Moving on, if you use any of the Samsung phone or iPhone, and if your phone is listed here, there is already a password manager pre-installed on your device, which you are not aware of. So Samsung ships their password manager, which is globally known, called Samsung Pass. This is available in all these eligible devices. It does exactly what I told you that these things do. Every time you type in a password, Samsung Pass will come and prompt you, do you want to save this password? Yes or no. Generally, you will always skip it, but this is exactly what Samsung Pass does. Same goes with iCloud. So iCloud has got a feature called keychain where you can sync all your iPhone, iPad, or iMac passwords with each other. If you're not using it, you are not using something which is built in, free, and very secure. So try this at least if you are not convinced to use any of the password managers. So you may say, I
How
don't even
about
have.
your if your phone is stolen?
Right. So when your phone is stolen, all these devices, all these applications always require some kind of biometric authentication. It'll always prompt you for either the face scan or face ID or your fingerprint. Without that, none of these applications will work. So if your phone is stolen, your phone is protected by the PIN. And second protection is the authentication of fingerprint or face ID using these applications. So double protection is already there. Moving on, if you say that I don't even have a Samsung or iPhone, and I still want to, and I don't want to invest in or buy a third-party software for syncing, you must be using Chrome. Chances are that you are a user of Chrome. Chrome has got a inbuilt password manager, which is backed by the security of Google. Okay, so this is Google's feature. Chrome is Google's software, and it prompts you to save the password. Whenever you try and create a password, it'll prompt you, do you want to save it? Generally, we say no or never, right? We forget that this is exactly the inbuilt password manager which we are talking about. Whenever we save any password in the password manager, it is securely kept on the Google servers under your Google account, which is that Gmail account. So anybody who does not know your Gmail password can never access these passwords. They even updated their software password manager to generate complex passwords. So whenever you sign up, please keep an eye. Whenever you sign up for any new service, under the password, it will always prompt you. Do you want to use a random password generated by Chrome? Chrome will store this password under Google saved password, and you don't need to even remember it. The benefit of this is you don't buy anything. You don't have to install anything extra. It gets automatically synced to your Google account. That means if your phone is using the same Chrome and you are signed into your Chrome, automatically that password will travel to your phone and you will automatically get it. If you don't know how to set it up or you have disabled this feature, use this link which I'll share and you can always re-enable this. Any questions about this? This is the least which you can do. Okay.
Similar experience or password managers are available for other browsers as well. So Firefox, etc. If you are using anyone, I
Right.
think you can go ahead and
Ab-
do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The only condition is that whichever browser you are choosing on your phone or mobile device, you have to use the same password, the same browser. Only then the sync will happen. Now, this feature has got, or this one has got a major disadvantage. Okay, whether you want to call it disadvantage or what, how would how would Chrome know that it is you? Because once you sign into Chrome, you are always signed in. It never asks you for another password to authenticate whether it's you or not. So chances are if you give your phone to anyone or if you give your computer to anyone, anybody can auto log in. Okay, it will automatically log in with the password which is saved. Or worst case, if you leave your laptop or you lose your laptop anywhere, all these passwords can be retrieved if the person knows your computer password. So if I know your Windows password, I can read all the passwords which are stored in Chrome. This is the major disadvantage of using an inbuilt password manager of Chrome or any other browser. Because the only authentication, only verification this browser will do is whether you are the same person whose computer you are using. So this is the only disadvantage. You can still turn it into an advantage by setting a very complex password of Windows. Anybody who's using a Windows computer or Mac computer and have not set the password and it auto logs in, this is the biggest mistake which we are all doing. That's the very minimal thing which we have to do. Okay, moving on. Since we have just 15 minutes left, I've already covered this piece. Very quickly, a few do's and don'ts. Okay, never use the same password for any two website. This is like rule of thumb because if I know that your password, I'll try and guess the same password on all the common sites wherever you go. Never share your password with anyone, not even people in the family. Now, in some cases, like we all do, we share our Netflix passwords, Hotstar passwords, and other passwords. Very common. Sometimes it gets passed on to multiple people, and that can be very bad. So if you really have to share a password, please do not use the same combination which you just learned. Set anything else. Set an easy password, but unhackable, easy password, but don't use the same combination or the same password. There are many cases where somebody shares their Netflix or whatever streaming media password, and their password for their mail ID is also the same, and as a result of that, their mail gets hacked, right? So never ever do that. Next, never write your passwords in Excel, Word, Notepad, or even a piece of paper, like we just discussed. If anybody gets hold of that, you're gone. If you really have to back up your password and you have to write it down, as I said, keep it in your safe locker. It is probably worth more than the money. As a rule of thumb, once in 6 months or at least once in a year, change your password so that even if somebody has got your password, it will expire in some time and they will not be able to get the new password. A few do's. So as I said, use any form of password manager, any form. Use inbuilt password browser's password manager, invest in a password manager, or use the one which comes with your phone. But use some kind of password manager because in no time there will be hundreds of passwords. Use 2FA. This is very interesting, and I'll just talk to you in a minute what that is. Please enable it for all the sites which are critical, like your email, your banking, and everything. 2FA, or it's called two-factor authentication, is nothing but where you get a PIN or OTP every time you log in from a new machine or new computer. This is the most important and most critical feature, which I covered in the next slide. All passwords should be unique. You cannot use or recycle the same password. And go over all of your accounts after today and change the passwords which are most common or very easy to hack. These are the few do's which you can take away from there. But how do we prevent hacking? We covered two things so far: how to set a password and how to store a password. But how do you ensure that nothing happens? I mean, we can always try to prevent hacking. There's always a smart guy, right in the next door who will always try and steal the information. How do we do that? Is by using two-factor authentication. Now, two-factor authentication, simplest form in India is called OTP, as we call it. Whenever you log in, a random number is sent over to your phone. If that random number matches the random number on the server, they ensure that it is you. Chances are that your laptop as well as your phone are not stolen at the same time, or your ID and your phone is not stolen at the same time. Now, having said that, it is not foolproof. Nothing is foolproof. It is possible that if somebody installs any software on your phone, all your SMS will be automatically transferred to someone else's computer and you won't even know it. It is very well possible in today's world. It is actually a very important feature for some of the applications, SMS forwarding. So you won't even know it. How we can do? There is something called whenever any site is providing this 2FA or OTP, they will always give you an option for Authenticator app. Now it is a bit complex. I don't want to cover it here. So Authenticator app is nothing but it generates random numbers every 30 seconds or 60 seconds, including Facebook has got this feature. So instead of OTP, it will not send you any message. It will just ask you to enter those numbers which you see on your phone. Once you put those numbers and they match the server's numbers, that's it. The machine gets unlocked. So please enable it for your Google, for your Hotmail, for your banking. All these companies have got 2FA enabled or two-factor authentication enabled. Some companies have went even a step further and they have enabled something called multi-factor authentication. So instead of two ways of verifying, they are verifying multiple ways that it is you. So start with 2FA. We'll cover MFA maybe in future. Any questions before I jump on to probably my last slide? Okay.
No.
All right. How do you know whether your email address is already hacked? Are you confidently are you sure? Are you confident that the email address which you are using right now it's not hacked already? So you may say that, oh, I'm checking my mails, everything is fine. So sometimes all this data gets hacked not from the actual Google server, but from other third-party sites. So you signed up for a pizza app to deliver pizzas for your home for home delivery. In a hurry, you actually set the same password of your Gmail and you forgot about it. 6 months after that, that pizza site gets hacked by some hackers and they now know all the passwords and your password is with them. They don't need to change it. All they have to do is just log into your machine, your Gmail, and they have access to all your mails. They will never change the password because they want new mails. You will never know that they have the password, and the day when you will actually know will be too late. So how do you check that you have actually been hacked or not? So there is a site. I'll just quickly show you. This is a security site which actually keeps an eye on all the other sites which have been hacked and update the email address here. So let me try, for example, my email address. And the moment you type this, see, read what it says. So it says that there is at least one breach site which was using the same, which had your email address, right? That means that site, if my password of Hotmail and that site is same, hackers have my password right now, and I don't even know it, right? Let's try something else which does not exist, and you can say no site found. So I want you to go ahead and try your email addresses. The moment you type your email address, your all your email addresses, and if this thing comes, that is the time when you should change your password immediately. So if I try my other email address, look, my this primary email address has been breached 25 times. Means 25 sites who have got this email address and the password has been breached. So this is what happens if you use the common email address and password. So those 25 sites passwords have been breached. Google has never breached, ever have never lost my password, but it's the third party sites which are very small, which have very low security standards got hacked. And that's how my password got leaked of those sites. Any questions about this? Because I am pretty much done. I don't know how.
Arvind, how this site is getting the data that
Okay.
our email address got breached?
So you need to understand whenever hacking happens, the hackers generally put that data up to public to create panic. Okay. If you see this, if you read this carefully, and if you click on this, you will also, your question will be answered that what is this pastes? So what does that mean? A paste is an information. So what they will do, they find millions of records and they will paste it publicly. Means anybody can steal your password. They can't make money, so they'll paste it publicly. Or these are those sites which are known. So if you remember, recently Facebook got hacked. Facebook said that we have lost so many passwords. Zomato got hacked a few months ago. So like this, many sites keeps getting hacked, and they generally publicly disclose that we have lost all the data of the users or their passwords have been revealed. This kind of sites keep an eye on that news and that database, and this is where they get to know that my email address was part of that hacking or not.
Arvind, I have a question.
Yeah,
I just searched my email address using this
yeah,
site, and it showed that it's gone. So
that's good.
I recently changed. I think day before yesterday, I changed the password for my email address.
Then you are
So
safe.
why is it showing?
No, again, you're mistaken. Your email address never got hacked. It is the third party sites where you registered using your email address got hacked. So if I order a pizza from Zomato and I put my email address, Gmail address there, and I set the same password, which is there in my Gmail. Now Zomato got hacked and the hackers have got Zomato's password. But because you use the same password, now the hackers have access to your Gmail as well. And you don't even know it. So if your name comes here, you should change your email address password. You don't know which site was it. Was it Zomato? Was it what? You should change the email address. I'll even show you one more site which does the same. So this
So
is
this is
another one.
just to add, this is a pretty great website, and I can't recommend it enough. But one killer feature of this website is that it can even notify you. So you can
Yes,
register to their, subscriber letters, and if in future your password gets breached or email gets spawned, you will get a notification.
that's great. Who's that?
It's me, Siddharth.
Siddharth. Okay, thanks, Siddharth. So as he mentioned, it lets you know whenever it gets when your email address gets hacked in future as well, and there are some premium features as well, who can actually through which you can actually get more details. Similarly, another service is there from Avast, that's another antivirus or security company, that also tells you where all your password got leaked, how when was that hack happened, and they can even tell you which particular site got hacked. So if you see this email address was leaked along with that site's password these many times, and you have no control over it. Okay, you have no control over it because you cannot guarantee whether the Zomato has got the service, good service or not, whether Paytm has got a very good servers and security or not. There is no way for you to find out. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah,
Any further questions? Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
Arvind, sort of this side. So I have one question.
Yeah,
So normally, Arvind, when we register anything over new services like Zomato, for example, so
yeah,
always there is an option like to log in directly from your Gmail account. So
right.
should we use that option or we should go for a new sign up always?
Right. So whenever that's a very good question. I never even thought of it to discuss it here. Thanks for bringing it. So whenever you click on Google or Facebook or sometimes Microsoft, so what you're telling that site is that don't create another password for me. I'm okay to use my Google password, which is already there. So when I say Google password, it's not that Google's password is going to get shared with Zomato or any other site. No other site other than Google can know your Google password. That is the number one condition. So what Google does is Zomato asks, "Hey Google, this guy is trying to register. Give me his email address and tell me if he is the same guy." So Google encrypts that information and tells it, yes, it is Saurabh, and this is his email address, and he is a registered valid member of my site. You can go ahead and sign up. So without setting the password, you have asked that site to verify with Google. Now, this is a very good option because you don't need to set the password. You don't need to remember the password, but not every site provides it. What is the downside? If your Google gets hacked, if your Gmail password gets hacked or you lose it, you also lose Zomato and many other sites where you have never kept any password. So it's a risk versus reward. If you're willing to take the risk, you will not have to remember the password. I hope I
Okay.
can answer the question. Okay, great. So we are almost at the end of the hour. I don't know. There were very limited questions, so I don't know if I was too technical. I tried to keep it simple, or it was that boring that nobody asked any questions. This is the time where you can share the feedback if you liked it, if something which was already known, or if this is something which you are going to give it a shot in future.
So, Arvind, I don't have a query as such, but the ideal situation would be that we go ahead and change our passwords and go as per the format that you've shared, so that it becomes a little complicated and we actually, store them at a space where they are secured. So, I think that's the takeaway for me from the entire conversation. And also the website that you've shared that have I been pawned.
Yeah.
So, since I've tried both my email addresses and both are, showcasing that yes, they've been pawned. So, the ideal thing would be to change everything, right?
Yes,
Change all the
that's the
passwords.
only thing which you have to do is change the password, because unknowingly, if you have set the same password to a different site which got hacked, your actual password is also with someone else and you don't even know about it. If you have a quick look at the number of accounts which have got pawned, it is unraveling. Look at the number, sheer number of email addresses which got pawned.
Okay.
Great, great feedback, Ruchi. Yes, it is the takeaway. Whatever I recommended, the method one and method two, these are my ways how I recommended. If you have a better way, please feel free to use that method. The idea is not to use or not to confirm that my way is better than yours. The idea is to use alphanumeric and special characters in your password, no matter what it
Correct.
is. Don't take your email address lightly and your bank seriously. They are all equally important.
Sure.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else? Any other feedback, question, anything?
I
Or if
think
any,
it was great. It was great, and I believe because I have been in this industry and I use these things, but I think there were a couple of things that I never thought any paid any heed to it. So it was
that's great. Great to know.
I forgot which site was the one. Which site was the one that told you if your password was good enough or not? What was the
Yeah.
name of the site?
I'll tell you, I'll send all these links to everyone. So if you have shared your phone number, if you have filled that form which I shared, I have your phone number and your email address, so I can actually give you that link. Otherwise, it is passwordsgenerator.net. If you go there, it will always recommend a complex password. And there was another site which was, let me just show you. This is the one. How secure is my password? So it is how secure is my password.net. Okay, I guess that is it from my side. Thank you so much for dialing in. I will be more than happy if you suggest future questions or future topics. I am planning to have simple, really simple topics, non-technical topics, which any of you can use and which can make a difference in your digital life. That's the whole objective of this session. So feel free to share the feedback either one to one, through email, whatever. The last slide actually said the same thing, that this was just an introduction. I am here to help you. I can be reached using any of the services available. I'm pretty active on most of them. So I can answer any of your questions, even if you need any
Okay.
help installing the service.
Arvind, I have a small
Okay.
query.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Um, like if I talk about any bank account, when you
yeah,
open up your net banking, it is generally a customer ID and a password. But yes, there is an email ID linked with it, correct?
yeah, yeah.
So even if that email ID showcases that that has been pawned, so that becomes a risk to your banking account as well.
No, it doesn't.
Although it
It
doesn't.
doesn't,
Okay.
because bank authenticates based on your that customer ID rather than email address. That's why banking services or securities are a bit better than everyone else's. But because not every site can have a customer ID, that's why they rely on your email address itself.
All right. So, how do we check? How do we cross-check about our bank accounts that whether they are still safe or not? Is there a method to do that as well?
Well, the best thing is to change the password and enable two-factor authentication. Almost all the banks have got this feature where it will
Okay.
generate a random number either on the mobile app or on what you call through OTP. So always enable 2FA for at least your mails and your banking, at least. And if you
Okay.
have option for other services as well, please do that. Please enable
All
that.
right. Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Great. Any other question before we sign off?
Thank you, Arvind. Thank you so much. It was such a balanced presentation. I would say that I'm really very happy, and it is very, very useful for the common people who actually don't have an idea about it. So
Great.
it's been very, very helpful to me in many ways, and
Thank
I
you,
would
Kalpana.
be looking forward for. Yeah, I would be looking forward for such, little things which we don't care about.
Yeah, I
So
know.
it was a great topic and greatly presented. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Thank you
welcome,
so much,
Kalpana.
Arvind. It was a great
Welcome.
session.
You're most
Thank
welcome,
you, sir.
Ruchi.
Thank
As I said, I'll record it and send it to you so that you can forward it to your friends and family members, especially
That
your
would be
elderly,
wonderful. Yeah.
because elderly are the most prone to such kind of hacks and they are not even aware that they got hacked. So that is the sad part. So hackers do not see anyone with their age or gender or anything. They just do what they are supposed to do.
Correct.
Thanks, Arvind.
Really,
Thanks a lot.
thanks.
Great. Thank you, guys. That is it from my
Thank you,
side.
sir.
You're most welcome.
thanks,
Thank you,
Arvind.
Arvind. Look forward to
Thank,
more webinars from you.
thank you, sir. Thank you so much for inviting me,
Absolutely.
sir.
Thank you, Basha. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks,
thank
Saurabh.
Thanks,
you,
Thank
Arvind.
Arvind.
you, Arvind.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Manish. Thank you,
Bye.
Kaushal,
Thank you so much,
Anmol.
Arvind, sir. Thank you for your time and a very interesting topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Piyush. So good to talk to you after so long.
Same here, sir.
Good, good. Thanks, guys. Feel free to reach out to me for
Thanks.
any one-to-one
Bye.
help or guidance. Take care.
Sure. Thank
Bye-bye.
you,
Thank you, sir.
Arvind.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
night.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
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 Thank you, Arvind.
Thank you. Bye bye.